All right, ladies and gentlemen, what's happening, everybody? I am Christ, I am disciple. People know me by another name on another channel. And we're going to talk about a couple current events that has taken place. Also going to talk about the Snyder Cut, obviously. Um, and of course, you guys haven't seen me for like the longest minute. Um, I hope that you guys are doing well. Let's get into it. All right. First of all, congratulations once again to Zack Snyder, Deborah Snyder, all the fans out here that believed that Zack Snyder's vision had not been actualized, and we're going to get the Snyder Cut in 2021 on HBO Max. Looking forward to that. Ray Fisher came out and he started speaking a bit on he became somewhat vocal about Josh Whedon's directorial debut into DC's realm of filming on Zack Snyder's film. Shout out to Pika Shades. Pika Shades says, I have time. Also great to see you after a long time. Shout out to you, brother. If you want to jump up on this stream, I can send you the link. Let me post the link in the comment section very quickly. Pika Shades, baby. I ain't seen you in a long time. Hold on a second. Let me just see how I do this. Okay. All right. So it's now going to be in the chat area. You tap on that, and you'll become a guest, and you can hop on in. Okay. Right. So yeah, Pika Shades. Shout out to Pika Shades. Anybody else want to jump in on here? We're going to talk about a number of different things, not just the Snyder Cut, but we're going to talk about current events that has happened. Yeah, so Ray Fisher was pretty vocal on that. And Leroy Cohn, what's up, my brother? Hello, great live. The Snyder Cut will be big, big, big. The multiverse is here. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's a shout out from Leroy Kong. If you want to, Leroy Kong, just jump in and jump out as a guest. You can do so. The link is right above. Once you pop in as a guest, I will allow you to speak a bit. Let people know who you are. Pika Shades. All right. Hold on a second, Pika Shades.
Hey.
You up and in. You're up and in, Pika Shades. What's up, my brother? How you doing?
Yeah, it's been quite a lot. And it's been quite a long time since we did this. I've been here talking to you like this.
That's right. That's right.
When I was still doing it under my real name and not under my current YouTube name.
Nice, nice. I see you did a video also on the Snyder Cut.
Yeah, it was kind of a first reaction when I got the I was doing videos. I started making actual videos about basically about this and that sometime at the beginning of this year, and yeah, that was one thing I was doing. I have also been starting to think about what other things I can make in YouTube business. I have right now. I've been doing those reviews about the Star Girl on your show on the on DC Universe and CW. And but I have
Nice.
but those have been pretty good rehearsal and practice for other things I can do after the season is over. I have some other ideas
Nice.
what I do, and I also
Just
made a
what?
review. And yeah.
Nice, nice. Well, just want to shout out to my viewer here, Cornell Comer. I haven't seen you in ages, brother. Shout out to you. Again, I don't have a problem with people coming in as guests on this feed. What I would do though is regulate how many guests go on the feed at any given time. So if you want to come in, shout out, just say hello, and then pop out of the feed. It's okay. And just click the link above. You'll see I put a StreamYard link above for all the people in there. You can come in and say hello. I like Pikachu. Well, as you can see, this is not Pikachu anymore. He is Pika Shades. Pika Shades. And you can see he is Pikachu and Shades. Really cool
Yeah,
dude. Yeah. So keep on going there, Pika Shades. As I just interrupted you just to say, acknowledge the people in here.
yeah. That was about what I was saying. I said I did review that one DCEU movie that came out over at the beginning that and I plan to do it. I actually had some ideas about also reviewing the other DCU movies while going towards the Snyder Cut coming next year, sometime about
Sweet.
yeah, it was
Well, I mean, I'll be honest with you, okay? I'm
go
gonna be
ahead.
totally honest with you. I have not been watching any DC movies whatsoever. I have
Mm,
watched. I'm really hot up on though the Snyder Cut coming.
I understand.
I think I'm very excited about that. But I have not watched any live action or animated DC movies. I
Okay.
haven't. Oh, I haven't even watched the DC television, not television, but the DC they have their own streaming service. Not
Yeah.
HBO Max. They have their own streaming service. I haven't even watched anything on that. I was watching at a certain point in time. I was watching Titans, and then
Yeah.
I was watching Swamp Thing, but then they took off Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
So you
Swamp
know,
Thing was I only saw it and the DC universe is not actually available where I live, but it is.
okay.
So mostly I've been able to watch most of the DC universe shows on HBO Nordic. Yeah, HBO
Ah,
Max is not available in my region either. But I hopefully assume that when Snyder Cut comes out, it will be on that other HBO.
it better be because I'm going to subscribe. Also, I think HBO had Watchmen on it, and the Watchmen series is going on.
Yeah, it's
So that's
there.
something again.
Yeah, it's there too.
Yeah,
Uh,
look forward to that. I haven't watched any of those things yet, but I'm gonna probably delve into it just to see if it's appealing to me. I'm gonna keep on watching them. If it's not appealing to me, I'm definitely just gonna disband everything. Shout out to
yeah.
Leroy Kong in the chat area. I'm at work now. Again, great live. Take care. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I have many different subjects we have to catch up on. Some of them may make you uncomfortable. Some of them will not make you uncomfortable. But there's many different topics we got to cover, from the George Floyd incident to COVID-19 to box. Well, y'all, entertainment, sports, work coming back on stream. So there's a lot of things besides just science fiction, animation, superhero movies. But we're going to start off by speaking about the superhero movie part. If you don't want to stick around for that, pick a shade. It's okay. When I started going to the social issues and all those kinds of things. But we're going to cover as much as we can, spiritually as well, everything we could possibly cover in this small little time slot. But let's keep it now with the Snyder Cut, with science fiction, that kind of thing first, and then we'll go on to the other things, right?
Okay.
So let me ask you this question. When it comes to your excitement level for current DC content, I don't know if are you a DC fan, or are you a Marvel fan, or are you a DC Marvel fan? I mean, what are you really? Or are you even
Yeah.
even a DC or Marvel fan? You might be a fan of something else, just crossover stuff. So
Let's
what
go
are
with the DC.
you? How would you? Yeah.
I'm the DC camp. I've been there for the most of my times. There are
Okay.
some early other Marvel properties and some things I have been watching. Like recently, I watched that 19 Spider-Man animated show, which was originally my introduction to the character when I was 9 years old. So,
Okay.
so basically, when it comes to the MCU stuff, because their Spider-Boy is not like that Spider-Man in the animated show. I
Right.
haven't watched the Marvel movies at all.
So
And
will you be going up? Okay. You go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah. What
No, you
will
go
I be
ahead.
going? Will I be going what?
No, no, you go ahead and say what you were going to say. I'll give you the next question after you finish.
Yeah, that was actually it. I haven't been any
Okay.
about. That's the old school Marvel things that I do somewhat appreciate and I still look and enjoy. But the new stuff that has been done with Disney is not very appealing.
Right. So I was going to ask you, that's interesting, because I'm going to ask you, are you going to go into the cinema next year? Because COVID-19 kind of messed up everything, right?
Uh,
So are you going to go into the cinema next year when it's appropriate to go to the cinema, if we ever get to go to the cinema, and watch Wonder Woman 84?
yeah,
That's my question.
that's the
Are
plan.
you,
That has been the plan since it came out. Actually, when I first went to see Wonder Woman, it was actually as I probably mentioned back over all those years ago when I first did that. I went to see it with my sister, my dad, and my stepmom. And
right.
when we went, and earlier this year when we went to see the Birds of Prey and the unnecessary subtitle, including Harley Quinn movie, as a birthday present to my sister, we went. There was the Wonder Woman trailer, and because of circumstances, my dad and stepmom also ended up coming there, and because they liked the first Wonder Woman movie, they are also willing to go to see the next one. So yeah,
Right.
that was always in the cards.
But are you excited about that, or are you still kind of like on the fence?
Well, I'm interested to see how it's going to go. But go on the other hand, there's also something that how it's been alluded on the happening, and then I have also had a something of a pitch or some of my own ideas how that movie could go out.
Right.
And for example, Chris Pine is coming back as Steve Trevor. That is
Right.
something that has raised a lot of eyebrows.
Right.
And there's the thing that how he's gonna come back. Well,
Right.
this is not probably how they're going to do it, but my idea how they could do it would involve the Sandman, Neil Gaiman's Sandman. But this is just my
Right.
idea. This is not probably what they're gonna do, but this is the idea.
Right.
Like, are you familiar in the comics, like how the first Sandman or Dream of the Endless was Morpheus, who in the Greek mythology is the god of dreams.
Right.
Yeah, so it could work with Wonder Woman connection that she would be familiar with Morpheus, and Morpheus could could in my theory play a part in bringing Steve back as a in a some kind of dream world, or in the dreaming as it's called in the Sandman series.
So you
So
think you think it's an illusion then that
yeah,
Steve
it
is
could
not
be
really
an
there.
illusion, or
Right.
because the Sandman is also a sibling to the Death of the Endless. So Death could bring Steve to the dreaming, and in her dreams, Diana could be reunited with Steve, and in the dreaming, they could live Inception style a whole lifetime together, the life that they lost because of what happened at the end of the first movie. And
I see.
due to a comic book connection, in that life, they could have the daughter they also had in comics, Hippolyta Lita Trevor. And then basically because of the movie's other or existing villain plot involving Cheetah and Maxwell Lord, I wonder which one it is. There are four Maxwell Lords. Then that would be the reason why Diana would have to then choose to abandon them from the dreaming
So
and
you
come to the real world. That's an
so you
idea.
don't you don't you don't think Maxwell Lord mind manipulated not just Diana, but a
That
lot of
could be
people
that could be the case.
because of the technology, like the technology that he has, could mind manipulate a lot of people, so that once you kind of bend to his power of suggestion, maybe it's something you want in your life or whatever, he could
That could
use
happen.
your psychic energy, and then he can manipulate you to have what you want while he's sucking all the energy from you, the
That
mental
could be the
energy.
case. That could be the case
Yeah.
in a ways. It might. That is a good way that it could happen. And the Steve recording
I
it.
think it's something like I think it's something along that line that they're
Yeah,
going with, but
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how much. How do I explain it? I don't know if because Patty's pretty clever. You know, it make you think that Maxwell Lord's doing that when it could be something else going on. So that maybe your theory probably is somewhere in there as well. So I
Yeah.
mean, I mean, Wonder Woman 84. I know they're going to be going off of George Orwell's
Uh,
1984. There's something to
yeah.
do with that, and I know there's something to do with it. I don't know what it is, but we'll find out in time. But I think that movie. I'm kind of glad that it's kind of delayed in a way because I think that it gave us the opportunity to hear that the Snyder Cut is coming. So now, post Snyder Cuts is coming. You know, this could really line up things to get us amped. But because at least I always told everybody I wasn't interested in DC anymore because they
Mhm.
didn't want Warner Bros. Wasn't giving us the Snyder Cut. So I wasn't really watching anything. I didn't watch a Harley Quinn movie. I didn't watch Shazam. I didn't watch Aquaman. I didn't go to the cinema to watch any of those movies.
Yeah.
I
That's
didn't watch. I watched bits and pieces of Aquaman, but I still, it was what should I say? It was spectacular in terms of visuals to some degree, and
yeah.
I would say the storyline was like paper thin, but it was entertaining to some degree because of the action sequences and stuff.
Mm.
But those kind of movies just don't do it for me. you
Uh, I
know,
I can understand that in a way. James Wan did, however, make some case about that his movie would be canonical to only the Snyder's version and not the Whedon's version. That's something he said when the movie was coming
right,
out. That
right.
it's 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 canonical with whatever we're getting next year, or so it
Oh,
would.
we getting Aquaman next year as well.
Uh,
That's what they said.
Aquaman is still in the Zack Snyder's Justice League,
Oh
but
yeah, absolutely.
but my point was that James Wan went to Snyder and they talked about how to make Aquaman presented in the 2018 movie the same way that he would have been in Zack Snyder's Justice League, not how he was
Right.
in Joss Whedon's version.
Okay. Okay.
Or that's why what I remember from some things before the point. That's,
Right.
it's just
Yeah.
some
Yeah, there was a bit of that we were talking about. So I would say that this is my excitement for DC. My excitement for DC is the fact that DC and Warner Bros. Allow Zack Snyder's um, Justice League to actually is going to actually air. Now, the thing about it is, some people are saying, well, it will be aired in parts, and some people are saying it might be aired as a holistic thing. Which one would you prefer? The full 4 hour movie, or you prefer to get it in segments? Which one do you prefer?
well, I when I, a long movie would be something of a thing if you prefer sitting and watching it on a whole long go. But there are some cases when it could be a miniseries too. Some long movies have been turned into shorter series. Like there is a local movie in where I live, which was turned the 2017 Unknown Soldier movie was turned on HBO as a six episode series, and that
Right,
movie was so long that the theaters had actually had to make break times for it, and
right.
there are some older movies that have also been turned into series for some reason. But
Okay.
if it's going to be, how long was it going to be? Is it going to be now? Maybe
4
three,
hours.
for 3 to 4
4 hours.
hours, or yeah.
Yeah.
So it could work as a 5 episode series too, meaning that in a breathing room kind of way, hey, and so on. A movie that long, hey, it worked for the Lord of the Rings, so it could work for Justice League too. Actually, they both could work quite well for different audiences. Those who can watch it on one go, and those who prefer to watch it in pieces.
Exactly. I feel like you should have the option because I personally do not want to, I don't necessarily want to see it in a miniseries because I don't want to have to wait for the next week. Oh man, and suspense, and then get away. So I'm a guy who would want to probably see it all in one go, and then if it's too long, I can always resort to the miniseries where I can just binge on it week by week and just save it. But I prefer to get it all in one go first. So I know what's happening, and I can always go through the little bits and pieces and be like, yeah, yeah, yeah. You can even run over, like a episode, which would be great. So like an episode that you really like, you just kind of like, yeah, let me just focus on that. So I think, like you say, maybe they should offer both, which shouldn't be hard because, well, actually it can be hard because then, you have to chop it up into bits and stuff. I think it's more work to do the miniseries. I think it's easier to just put the whole thing down there and that's it. But if they want to do the miniseries route, I don't have a problem with it. I just think if after all this time, I've been waiting for this thing, I don't want it in bits. I want the whole thing. I want to see the whole movie one time, and then after that, you can do whatever you want after that. Yeah, miniseries, whatever. You know, that's just my thoughts on it. I don't know how other people feel about it. Oh, guys in the chat section, if you got any time, well, how do you feel about having the Snyder Cut of Justice League in one full 4 hour and whatever segment, or in little chips, like little hour chips? So you may have, or maybe 45 minutes of chips. So you got 45, 45, 45, 45. So you end up with like 6 hours. I mean, 6 episodes or 7 episodes of small little bits. What do you guys think about that? Yeah, so we got into the Snyder Cut. There's a lot to talk about in the Snyder Cut and the developments. And you saw the preview
Yeah.
on HBO Max. What do you think of that?
Well, there's the fact that they switched Steppenwolf with Darkseid.
That's right.
And then there's the fact that Wonder Woman appears to be aware of who Darkseid is, and
right.
There's actually something I think back in the Whedon version. She talked about Steppenwolf when she talked to Bruce about Steppenwolf. She seemed to be like casual, like a lecturer telling a history lesson.
Right.
But I don't know what's her. I didn't actually understand what kind of impression she had about Steppenwolf at that point. But when it comes to having Darkseid just appear like just seeing a picture of Darkseid when her go all
right.
and
yeah.
when it and with the learning that Steppenwolf is there because of the beacon lit by the Amazon, she was just
And you know what's so interesting is they use the voiceover of Lex Luthor from Batman v Superman. Remember what he said? How he's hungry and he's coming. And now we know the hungry and coming wasn't Steppenwolf. Steppenwolf will be in the movie, no doubt about it. We saw it in Batman v Superman, the deleted scene where Steppenwolf was like with the 3 boxes, right? So he's gonna be there. And what is so exciting is we're gonna get the original Steppenwolf. We're not gonna get the Steppenwolf that we got in the Whedonized version. We're gonna get the horn Steppenwolf, the monster Steppenwolf. That's what we're gonna get, the real. And so it's very exciting. It's very exciting to think about the fact that it wasn't Steppenwolf he was talking about, was Darkseid. That Darkseid knew that Superman died. And that's
Yeah.
kind of really deep, you know. And then he talks about him being hungry, and now we get to know, oh, the anti-life equation. He's going to use that on everybody. You know, it's just really crazy how much more exciting, I mean, this whole thing is, and what it means for the real nerds, the real like comic book nerdy guys who just like, we're gonna get those that the dark side, and we're gonna get the anti-life equation, and we're gonna get all these. It's really exciting. I'm not gonna lie
Yeah.
to you. So it's like that little snippet preview is like telling us, look, this is connected. BVS is connected to Justice League. Like now you see the flow, right? Direct. And then he's like, you know, telling us that, hey, we're gonna continue where we left off in BVS, and it's gonna be like a tremendous shebang, you know. And just if you do remember the dream, you remember the dream
Yes.
that now here's the payoff from the dream. Those parademons that you saw in the dream, those are the parademons you're gonna see in Justice League. Like, man, it's like so crazy, you know, because the parademons, if you look at the parademons in BVS, they're different to the parademons you see in Whedonized Justice League, right? They
Mm.
reshot stuff
Yeah.
and even Batman, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I could go on forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
No smelling fear like Sinestro Corps.
Nah, that's like you know what I'm saying? And even how the transformation of um a human or a you know Atlantean or whatever into a parademon, we're gonna actually get the unfiltered, you know,
Yeah. How
the
human.
unfiltered
Yeah.
version.
How. Yeah. Yeah. How
Yeah,
the
how the
infection works
anti
when
like
they become.
how the anti-life equation converts them. And man, so you know, it's gonna be really crazy. Like I already know that, and that's the reason why it's 4 hours long. Like he's gotten the version that he had was 3 hours and 20 something minutes long, right?
Mm.
That was the one that was supposed to be actually shown in the theater. Now he's going even more. He's going to the level where he's like going even more into like his uncut version. So we're gonna get his real, like we're gonna get it
Yeah.
better. Like this turned out to be even better than it was because we're now gonna get the Snyderized version of Justice League, the unfiltered Snyderized version. What he really wanted to do, we're gonna actually get that in HBO Max. It's gonna be better
Yes.
than if we would have get to see it before in the theater. And that's kind of crazy in and of itself. You know, we're gonna see the real Green Lanterns. We're gonna get to see the ones that, you know, come forward to our time, not some history lesson that we didn't put
Yeah.
down there.
No.
But
Yeah.
you know, something. I mean, it's gonna be crazy, man. It's gonna be crazy. We're gonna get the black suit Superman. We're gonna see
Yes.
Superman controlled by the anti-life equation. He's gonna be controlled by dark side. We're gonna get that Superman.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And that was also probably more or more like that. If he's controlled by the anti-life equation, it would also
Yeah.
be amazing to see how it from the control here from his perspective. Like there's the anti-life
Right.
equation in his head, and then there's and then probably he would fight the anti-life equation from inside
Right.
himself in order to really take in everything that he went through in Man of Steel and in Batman v Superman, all of
There you
those
go.
lessons, all of those trials, everything he went through, and I think most of all of on that it is what that these are the challenges that defined him, and not the control of the anti-life equation, and breaking
And the other
free from
thing,
it if he does break free from it, that is the real that would be the moment, the actual thing when he stops being Clark Kent in the costume and really truly be Superman that
Superman.
they
Yeah.
have been building since Man of Steel.
Yeah. And the other thing is, remember what Flash told Bruce. He said, Lewis is the key. They got to keep Lewis alive. Something's going to
Yes,
happen to Lewis,
Lois is the
and
key. Lois.
they have to protect Lewis. So this movie is much more in depth and engrossed. And somehow Lewis is going to fit into this equation. I don't know how exactly, you know, but the way Whedon put it down was,
Yeah, just
yeah,
having Alfred bring her in the during that resurrection scene.
which makes no damn sense, but whatever. So and we're gonna get real action. We're gonna get the Snyderized version of action, like the scene down in Metropolis when Superman was fighting them. It didn't look real. It kind of looked fake. And now we're gonna get the epic kind of, because it's gonna be crazy. Like you saw tanks were flying in the air in the Snyderized version.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
It was
that was
tanks flying,
yeah.
and Cyborg
One
had
of
to stop a
Cyborg's
tank.
ways.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So it's gonna be crazy in the Snyderized version.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Also, it's gonna be great to see how Snyder spoke about Cyborg being the heart of the team. That is
Right. Yeah.
also in seeing how that works, and all of those
Yeah.
flashback sequences and things that were teased in the trailers. Those seeing that also building his character, and then there's the thing about Ezra Miller with the, I don't have actually an opinion about that 5-second clip that was posted in Iceland, but my but well, especially now we get to see also what Zack Snyder envisioned when he handpicked and chose Ezra Miller to play Flash, because
There you
that
go.
is because we just saw the reshot versions that on how Whedon used him, and now
Right.
we get to see him as the actual character that Snyder wanted him to be, not what he was actually used as a reused asset. That is going to
Right.
be the defining pieces of what we do as. And at the beginning of the year, I also made a video called "The Missing Half of Flashpoint." In it,
Right.
I went through the
Right.
yeah
Because
I went
this could be the I don't know what Warner Bros. Is gonna do, right? But
yeah
this
that's
could be the boosting point for Flashpoint for Flash.
yeah yeah
Because BVS was kind of like a boosting point. Well, actually, Justice League was supposed to be a boosting point for Aquaman, was supposed to be for Cyborg, and was supposed to be for Flash, right? That was supposed to be the kickoff for those the latter three. So Flashpoint now, depending on how Flash is developed in Justice League, because he's going to be a critical part of this thing. We know that already, right?
yeah it is
Um, but just his story, because I think they still didn't humanize him enough. He was like this comical element in the Whedon version, but we never really got. And then they did this relationship with his father thing, which was good. It just like we didn't know what his relationship with this girl was, and the girl that he
the
saved.
Iris.
And I think Iris West was supposed to be like big in this thing, and they just kind of cut her out of the movie. They cut out,
Mm.
and the other thing is, remember, and Zack Snyder talked about it. Martian Manhunter is supposed
Yeah,
to be in the movie.
yeah,
Like,
as
like,
Harry
like we,
Lenning's character.
like, God damn. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna
Yeah,
be crazy. I want to see how they all link up. Because Martian Manhunter is gonna be part of the team, and what that means for when they actually face down with Darkseid for the final or the second time in this thing. And I don't know if there's a part two, but what's cool is gonna be seeing all these different guys just creep out of the shadows and they link up together to fight Darkseid. Because obviously Superman can't take him down by himself. None of these guys can take him down by themselves. So I can't wait to see what this is going to be the real thing. It's gonna it's man, I'm so excited for it. But yeah. So like you were saying, I mean, Cyborg, he's going to lose his dad. He's going to lose his mom. He's going to be an orphan, just like
yeah,
Superman.
and
Just like
yeah, and Zack Snyder has teased that he would have the communion part where he's trying to use the mother separate the mother boxes. He would have that inside battle that
right.
I spoke about Superman having, where he would see himself as a whole person, his mother and his father, and they would probably think of him as that let go and join them or some and let everything that is going to happen
Because
that would be his heroic baptism by fire.
Yeah, because they show even this little snippet in the preview where he's tapping into the mother box to resurrect Superman, and then boom, he sees Darkseid, and he
Mm.
sees into the future, the apocalyptic world, and
Yeah.
it's so cool because now he shares that with Bruce. Bruce has also seen into the future,
Yeah,
You know,
that's also one
and
thing
he
that it
sees
could have been good.
this. I mean, this is a crazy movie, dude. It's a crazy movie because the one thing, I haven't seen many movies, especially comic book movies, where they've been prophetic, like how the human mind, human psyche can go beyond time, can go to the future or go to the past or whatever. So Zack Snyder introduces this new element into superhero movies that we've seen in sci-fi movies, but we haven't seen in precogs. You remember the movie with
Yeah,
Tom Cruise, right?
yeah,
But we never seen precog on premonition in a superhero movie. So this is like I can't explain to people how sick this is going to be. It's going to be a hell of an experience. Some people still going to, after they finish watching this 4-hour movie, they're going to have to sit down and process it because it's going to be so intense.
yeah.
How
That's
he
gonna
goes into
be.
all this sci-fi stuff that
Yeah,
DC
that's gonna
Comics
be.
needs to.
Yeah, it's gonna be. Yes, yeah. Sci-fi things are going to do that. And then
And
there's
it's
also, and not to mention that things that are in the background that are going to be realized only what maybe months or years later after watching it.
exactly. He does that all the time, and his movies are so epic. It's so wide, like Lord of the Rings kind of things. Like big, huge, vast movies. Man, because you remember, we're basically dealing with not the multiverse, but we're dealing with other aliens from other worlds. So we're talking about the Green Lantern Corps. We're talking about Martian Manhunter from Mars. We're talking about Superman from Krypton, right? We're talking about is it bigger? And then Darkseid and his forces from Apocalypse,
There's
right?
going to be Thanagarians probably too. With,
I think they're gonna bring in some other gods. They
well,
already had the old gods, but maybe
yeah,
they'll bring in,
yeah. The new
Zeus
gods are
or
also one thing. Which actually with the anti-life
crazy
equation,
dude.
yeah, with the
And he said there's a lot of stuff that he hasn't even let us
shown us
know
yet.
about.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, especially
You know what I'm saying?
when it comes to the new gods, there is that one thing that has me quite interested in it because the anti-life equation and not having it yet is basically the reason why Darkseid has not attacked or waged war against the New Genesis. So
Right.
if he has the anti-life equation to control Superman, what's the situation with the new gods on New Genesis? What's the thing with Highfather, Orion, and there's the thing where Darkseid and Highfather exchange sons. Is that
Dude,
still
remember this lady is supposed to do the new gods. She's supposed to do the new gods. What's her name?
Ava
Uh
Dirty? Ava Dirty.
Ava, yeah.
How do you pronounce her name?
Listen. Ava, I can't remember Ava something.
Ava
Whatever.
Dirty. Something.
Yeah, but my
And she's
point,
supposed to,
anyways,
yeah, and she's supposed to
she's
ride it
supposed to do. Yeah. So
Tom
if
King.
oh shit, man, I'm losing my shit right now. Sorry about the cursing. I'm losing my stuff because this can be the new gods could be a continuation off of this movie. You see what
Yeah,
I'm
it could be
saying?
that, or it could be a
Because
prequel, or a prequel happening at the same time, time being connected, be a part of the multiple eras, or it could be a whole dynasty being told from the beginning of existence, to the present day as a huge.
man, it's ridiculous. That's what I'm trying to say. Like a lot of people don't realize how much Zack Snyder puts into thinking about where this could continue and where that could continue. So it's like that's why I didn't understand why they did what they did with Justice League and shut the whole thing down. Because he basically he was putting down a blueprint that directors could do whatever they want with the blueprint, but he was putting down a blueprint that when you launch up from these three movies, you could do whatever you want, but people get a nice, crisp understanding of what DC is about going forward. And like I don't understand because I'm super excited about Justice League for that reason. I mean, just the because that's what he do, right? He does mythology, he does lore. That's what Zack Snyder was, he does and art and that kind. So I could see how he would be so detailed. And then when you look at another movie, it's like, oh shoot, so that's what he was talking about, you know. And you like you're a comic book buff, right? So you start talking about New Genesis, New Gods, and all that, and it's like he already factored that in. It's like they thought about all of that already.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I
One
mean?
thing about Darkseid that I would really want to see them to do is that Grant Morrison created that one. He created that one piece of mythology into Darkseid's being. That and Tom King brought it back with his Mr. Miracle series. The
Right.
the very thing about those two words, Darkseid is. Those two words
Right.
are saying that when it comes to Darkseid's power, omnipotence, and omnipresence, and all those things, that would be also something that it could be referenced somehow as with. I don't know if Snyder's version of Steppenwolf or someone would go and say Darkseid is, because that
Right.
would also be a huge thing in
Right.
going through that thing. That did you know that one theory or hypothesis about Darkseid that there is only one version of Darkseid, and every form of media that has been used in the cartoons, in the comics, in the movie coming up, all of those are pieces reached from the same hive mind. That and every
Okay.
Darkseid exists outside of the known multiverse, and every universe that
Oh.
has come across Darkseid is is the same thing. So just one avatar that has the same hive mind are reaching it. And all of those Darkseids have experienced their encounters with with other versions of DC heroes, and that shit is makes what makes Darkseid seriously a
A
real
really
threat to
serious
be
problem.
scared of.
Yeah, a real problem because it's basically the same one uniform dark side,
Yeah,
but
there
many
is
different multiverses.
many multiverses and one dark side who has lived and seen all of those things. Like, did you
Crazy.
know that Parasite, Rudy Jones version, that one Superman
Right.
villain, the Parasite, the
Right.
post-crisis version exists because Darkseid remembered the previous version from before Crisis on Infinite Earths and decided to push him to the place where he got his powers originally.
Oh shit. That's crazy. That's crazy. No, I did not know that. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? That's another thing. Um, we were going to get Brainiac in BVS. Brainiac was actually going to be, and you could see pieces of Brainiac there because you saw the scientist that um no, that was Metallo. Sorry, my bad. Metallo was supposed to be in there.
Yeah,
Brainiac was going to be in there as well. Brainiac
yeah,
was going to be in there.
yeah. That was
Crazy, ain't it?
that was apparently the original plan.
No,
That's
sorry, it's
probably
not. It's not
yeah,
Brainiac. Sorry, my bad. It's Metallo.
yeah, Metallo. Yeah,
Metallo's going to be in there,
Wallace
not
Burden
Brainiac.
Keith was originally supposed to be Metallo, the guy who lost his
Yeah,
legs, and
yeah.
that was supposed to be making metal. But then there were the other. There was the rewrites. Like that episode
Yeah.
was supposed to
Warner
come.
Brothers made him rewrite it. Yeah, you
Yeah,
know what I'm
but
saying?
like the movie was supposed to come out in 2015, and then it was pushed to
Right,
2016 because they
right.
had to rewrite something. I remember that Jeremy Irons said in some interview that he had read a script, but that was not the script.
Ah, man, I'm telling you, man. I wish, like, there's certain things I wish I could have seen, but it wasn't meant to be, so we just leave it alone. And they had the design for Metallo and everything. The design for it, yeah. I mean, he had lost both his legs, so
Yeah,
oh
yeah,
man. But it's
yeah.
all good. It's all good.
But he only lost his legs in the final version of the movie. What what all do you suppose he could have lost in the original version of BVS?
It's a good question. I'm assuming he was working for the scientists and people, so probably
It's actually also
it
one.
wouldn't have been in the Wayne. I don't think it would have been in the Wayne Industries breakdown. So
Mm,
maybe the story was a little bit changed, even a little bit more than we actually know, to make it more Superman, Batman focused, apparently. But man, I would have loved to see that version too. Because Brainiac, I'm not Brainiac. Why I keep on saying Brainiac? Metallo would have clashed with Superman, and everybody knows he got that kryptonite. So maybe Batman works along with Metallo to take down Superman.
yes, But in the final version, it's also also in the favor for Batman's redemption and remembering why he exists.
Yeah, I
I have,
mean, it would still have probably gone down that way.
mm,
Maybe I don't know. Maybe Batman finds out where the kryptonite is because of Metallo, and
yeah,
because they had to get the because it didn't make no sense why Lex Luthor just goes after kryptonite for no reason. But it would have made sense that he was going after kryptonite to make Metallo to keep Superman and the super beings in check. So you could see that was Lex Luthor's idea, but Batman hacks into that idea and he steals the kryptonite. You get what I'm saying?
yeah,
So you could see how that story would have been so much more interesting um, than just a straightforward Batman's getting kryptonite to kill Superman. You know,
yeah.
they kind of just
But
cut the Metallo
yeah,
thing out.
yeah. They did somehow managed to work with some elements that were left. For example, there's that the infamous scene from the movie. I just recently came up with that. There are those 5 words that Superman says to Batman. You are letting him kill Martha.
Yeah,
The him
yeah,
could be
yeah.
anyone from Luthor to KG Beast and to Batman himself inside Bruce Wayne's psyche. That was something
To to
that's
to
something I realized.
also
That's
to
something I
also Joe Chill. They didn't say he was
yeah
Joe Chill, but
yeah yeah yeah
to
yeah.
also
But
Joe
at the
Chill, right?
present, at that moment, that's
Yeah.
it was the Batman inside Bruce Wayne. The kind of I'm planning to make a video about the comic book name about comic named Batman Ego, which has something like that. Where it has Batman separated as a one entity and Bruce Wayne as a different entity who would go to a debate or going over something like that. It's something like that. That the entity of Batman, which was portrayed as a large hunchbacked backed monster with a monstrous mouth. Basically, something like that Greg Capullo has drawn Barbados in the metal comic books, but something like that. It's clearly
Wasn't
some.
it like the wasn't it like the Bat Demon that we saw come out of the
Yes,
cast
that exact thing. That is
man bat
what
a
I
man bat thing?
imagined. Yeah, that the man bat
Right.
or that man bat could have been it could have if it was made look like the entity that Bruce was facing in Ego, that could have also been a more direct approach to.
Right. So you're saying that you know what would have really kind of made that scene even more vivid? Where
Hmm?
the bat just jumped out at Batman. If they could have recapped that little bit right there, it might have been a little too much, but where okay, so you see him as a child watching him as Superman saying, kill her, which is Martha, right? You see that scene recapped in Batman's mind. So that kind of clarifies, it tells us, okay, the him is the Joe Chill and Martha is, but then you saying personalize it to Batman, where the bat is coming out and devouring Batman. I don't know if people would have quite gotten it because you go from that scene to the nightmare scene where he's getting consumed by rage and revenge and fear, and he becomes this beast like you're saying, the debate between Batman and the Beast
Ego.
Bat version,
Yeah.
the ego of himself. So I don't know if they'll quite get that, but that would have been nice if you could sneak that in to personalize it for Bruce. That hey, I'm now turning into this beast. Right at this point, I am Joe Chill. That would have been really because it did sound a little wacky when you say, "What you said nothing."
Uh,
I think you said nothing.
yes, yes.
And Superman is like down there.
Yes, there could have been a there could have been a metaphysical, metaphysically could have shown that when he was looking over it, there could have been some kind of the monster from the
Yeah.
nightmare. But that design or the altered design, it could have been like standing behind him somehow, and
Yeah.
and
Behind
that
him, you
could have
seen
been
the.
and the representation of his psychic. Like, and
Yeah.
all people are
That would have been deep. I love
yeah
that.
yeah that would have been perfect in showing that they talked a lot about how 20 years has made him this jaded,
Distinct.
tired, and all
Yeah.
those things. But but a visual representation, well, like that, by having that monster from his nightmare appear behind him as a kind of like ghost or a transparent thing like that, it would have been like that. And
I think that would have captured it because now
yeah,
a lot of people might have, a
it
lot
would
of
have,
people,
it would have raised questions, and people wouldn't have probably understood it. But that way, it would have been.
well, it depends because now,
Depends
okay,
how it would
now
have been
people might
told.
have seen, yeah, people might have seen him as a evil, like a demoness, evilish kind of person. But what they would have to realize is this is him, and then you're seeing the thing behind him, kind of almost It's almost like he's transforming into it just to get you guys to kind of understand. A lot of people might have been thrown off by it, but on reflection and looking
Or
back at it,
they
so
were
you
part
see
of.
it appearing, and then as she says it's his mother's name, it starts to disappear, and you see Bruce. You just see Bruce, and then you
Yes.
see him back in the suit. You see Bruce the boy, and then you see him in the suit. That would
It
have done it.
also work with the because there was water on the floor there in the building. A reflection showing him as that him looking at his
Yeah,
reflection
could have done.
holding the spear at Superman and seeing himself there as the monster from the nightmare. That would have solved it.
That would have done it. That would have done it. But you got to show that the monster's going away as well. You got to
Yes,
show that
fading
because
away and like his own as he throws away and then we
the
see
spear.
the spear and then next to the puddle with reflecting him and actually showing him from the puddle as he throws it away. And as the spear gets further and further, the monster fades away and he returns to his normal form in that way. In the reality, he looks the same as he does, but in the reflection, that's where that in the mirror,
Boom,
that would have
boom.
been it.
That would have killed it. Because I think it was a disconnect between the audience and that moment because it was too abstract for people. You have to mix the abstraction with the reality. And once you show him as himself, right? And then you show that monster kind of appearing in the reflection, I think that you see the reality and the abstraction. But when you just don't have no abstraction, you just flick back to the past or whatever, I think people disconnected with that. And then it was kind of a wacky-ish looking scene, the way how it went down. You know, he's like, well, it's a dream, and the other guy's like, and it's just awkwardish.
Yeah.
You know, but that's how it would be in reality. But yeah, you kind of have to kind of Hollywood, kind of just like how he does the action scenes. You got to kind of what's the word I'm looking for? You kind of have to make it sexy. That's the best way I could put it. You know. Damien Anton Vincent, good evening, gentlemen. I'm at work. Yeah, bro. I'm glad at least you're going to work. That's good. Everybody being working here. That's good. That's good. You know. Yeah. So I mean, I like what you just said because I think that was the key to that moment. And I think there's certain moments where Zack Snyder just goes controversial with everybody, like when Superman killed when he killed Zod. He went, oh, and just ripped his head off. Right?
Yeah.
It was controversial. I get it.
Yes,
I
but
mean,
at least this is something I'm probably controversial when I'm saying that I don't have a problem with the heroes killing as long as it's done as the last possible option when all the others have been extinguished. Because
right.
if it's done as the first thing as the first option, the easy way, that is where it goes too far. And
Right.
like, and in the comics there was.
But did you feel like that was the last possible option that Superman could have done?
Well, considering what we saw before, there was they were fighting, going there and going through here and there, and it was clear, it was clear to everyone who watched it with clearly that Zod was dominating the fight. He was the one
Right.
who was leading Superman deeper into the city. He is the one who kept pushing him in the buildings, and then he threw Superman up in the space,
Into
and
space,
then
yeah. He then knocked him down towards Earth.
Yeah, or
he knocked him down towards Earth as well.
Yeah, and then when he finally got into a headlock position, Zod did he literally said, that he was that Clark can mourn for people if he loves them so much. And even before
Right.
the fight, he said that he is going to take everyone away from him one by one.
And he also said, "This only ends one way." He said, "This only ends one way. Either I kill you or you kill me. There's no
yes,
in between."
yeah. And then Dan Jurgens, or was it John Byrne, who in the 90s wrote post-crisis Superman stories. He
Right.
he did the killing Zod, but not only Zod, but also Feora and Namek or Ursa and non, whichever they were called in that comic line. There were pocket universe versions who brought that it was complicated, but anyway, there were pocket universe versions that Superman was facing against, and back at that time, kryptonite from other universes didn't affect Superman, but it did affect them. So
Right.
because even when Superman had managed to take their powers away, and to, and they were still saying that they are going to find a way to get their powers back, and they are going to find a way outside of the pocket universe to Superman's world where that kryptonite doesn't work on them, and they are going to get their revenge. And
Right.
Superman was then forced to act as an executioner to kill them with the kryptonite from that universe. And
Right.
Dan Jurgens said that Man of Steel handled that killing much better because, well, at least this is how I understood it. Killing them with kryptonite was a slow and torturous way of execution,
Whoa.
while the next snap was quick and painless.
Right. Right. Yeah. The thing about it is, I agree with you 100%. He was pleading and stuff with Zod. I think the only part I didn't quite understand, I think it's still pretty unclear to me, is how he got the advantage on Zod. Like we saw Zod knock him down
Uh,
towards Earth, and then
Actually, there was
when we see
something.
the next scene, Superman's on top of Zod, and he smashes him into the hall.
It was something
So
like in BVS we saw from Bruce's point of view that when they were
yeah,
coming back to the space, that what it was to be up about. Well, anyway, they probably just fell or some on. Well, they fell to the ground.
Superman was knocking Zod into the Earth
Yeah,
when
yeah,
Bruce
yeah,
saw it.
yeah.
Yeah.
They went to the ground. They probably went there, and Superman was the first to get up and put a chokehold on Zod. It was probably just
Okay.
that he was faster in getting up.
Well, yeah, he slammed him into the earth after they hit the they they smashed into the side of the building, and then they hit the ground, brap, and then Superman hit Zod, and then he grabbed his neck and he held him back this way, to secure him, and he put his foot on him too, so he could secure him and keep him in place.
Mm.
So Zod couldn't just push off and slam him up into the. I just thought that I just thought that I think the average person, when you're doing a shock factor like that, the average person, you gotta actually exaggerate. I know he exaggerated, but he didn't do it enough. You got to exaggerate the thing into epic proportions. You almost have to slow down time to get the effect that to get the audience to understand this guy had no other option. Because if you just do it in real speed, because what he did is he slowed it down to real speed, right? They were going at super speed, and then he slowed it down to real speed where he locked his neck, and nobody really knows how secure that lock was, that neck lock and stuff. So,
Yes,
but I thought that
and we saw earlier in the Smallville scene
I
where Feora and Namek were holding Superman down. That heat vision does hurt Kryptonians too. And putting his face on in front of Zod's eyes wouldn't have done anything. He would have pulled it away eventually, or if not
right,
immediately.
but he couldn't lock his neck and put his hand on his face. He couldn't do it. The way
Mm,
how he locked the neck here, there's no room to move the hands. See,
mm.
it's just martial arts 101. So it's
Yeah,
either
and
snap.
Clark had barely
He
anything
pinned him
compared.
down though. He pinned him down really good. I watched it. I understood. But
Yeah,
the average person seeing this shock factor where he just goes right. That shocks everybody. It's so brutal, right? It will shock everybody. For me, when I saw it, I was shocked myself, and I was like, "Oh my god!" He snapped his neck. But I'm not gonna lie to you. That's my first reaction was, "Oh my God, he snapped his neck." All right, that's an "Oh my God" moment. And it's
Yeah.
like I'm just
I was
saying that.
actually quite shocked about it, probably because my country got the movie about months later, and I
Oh,
got and there were some leaks or not leaks, but things that were online that Superman ended up killing Zod. So I knew that was
right.
coming. I just didn't know how it was going to come fast.
Man, when I first saw it, I went and watched that movie 6 times, and I watched it on IMAX. I watched it because I couldn't get enough of it, right?
Yeah.
But when I saw the first time I saw him, and because the action was going on a little bit too long. The first time I saw it, I was like, I was kind of getting like, oh, okay. And then the end, how the end happened, because he was pleading with him, please don't do this, and so I was like, never. And he was like, and you see the people there, and then he just did so, and broke his neck. I was like, holy smokes!
Yeah, and
I,
yeah, and in the end, he
I
was
was
just,
like,
and it was just as horrible to him too. Henry
oh,
Cavill's
obviously,
performance was
obviously,
really
obviously,
showing that
yeah.
he was earned. And the next scene where some people have criticized
Lewis.
the next scene where he throws the drone down. I'm not a psychiatrist, but I would understand that after having done something and having wanting to be alone, he saw something following him. He probably took it and threw it and in a indirect but still a polite way asked, "Leave me alone for a while. I'm going over this
What?
and I'm going to work from here."
Well, the thing about it is that's typical government. They try to monitor and investigate, and so he obviously he doesn't want anybody monitoring him. And then after doing so much for humanity, you're still monitoring me. Like you don't understand that I actually care about you. I just picked you over the Kryptonians. Like, did you realize you were about to get annihilated? you
Mhm.
know. So it's kind of like,
Yeah, it's a good thing that
what
he
are
never
you
ever went right.
doing following me with a drone? So he knocks the drone down, right?
Yeah, but at least he did it in a Superman kind of way and not like.
Right.
Have you read the Irredeemable comic called Irredeemable?
No, no.
Yeah, that's one of those kind of things where they have a Superman-like character who and the whole premise is that is him going all out, going insane about that. And basically, when he has already gone off and he's and going that I did everything for you and you just spat at me you and all and that guy the guy in Irredeemable is really what it is, but you can still it's been written so that you can understand how and where it's coming from. But
Right.
still, when I read it, I understood that yeah, this kind of what has been done, this wouldn't work for Superman because there have been too many changes in like in like for example in there was one the comic had a Lois stand-in who in the comics Clark and Lois relationship went that Lois was interested in Superman, but it was so what as a crush. It was kind of a crush, and eventually, as she spent time with Clark Kent, she got feelings for him. Clark got up to it, up to going on his back. They fell in love, and then when Clark had managed to establish relationship with Lois, a friendship or a relationship, up to a point where she and Clark they were engaged to be married. That's when he told Lois that that he was Superman, and
Right.
and the Irredeemable version, that guy, he just spent time as the in his superhero persona and not in his civilian persona. And when he
Ah.
decided to tell her about that, he just did it in his civilian persona that the Lois proxy had no relationship with.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that comic was it was basically I understand that yeah this was written so that it would happen just for the sake of happening.
Right.
This is not how it happened in Superman's case.
Right. 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 Well, I would say is that and shout out to Damian Anton Vincent talking about the shock factor in Man of Steel, and we're just discussing some of Zack Snyder's work here and some of the controversial elements of his work, but. really and truly, I think that it pays off in the end because this was not a Superman who was really Superman. He was Superman for a day, but he
Yeah,
wasn't the
yeah, and
Superman.
yeah, and
You know,
in my point of view, he was still just Clark Kent wearing the costume.
right? He hadn't really fully been birthed as Superman. We're about to see the Superman get birthed in
Yeah,
Justice League. But
yeah,
my point though is that uh, that Superman did it was a big shock factor, yeah. But on top of that, like you're saying with the missile thing, that I just believe that I have you seen The Boys? I haven't seen The Boys yet.
uh,
It's on
I
Netflix.
I did pirate it from some streaming site because
Right.
I didn't want to do the Amazon thing. But I have seen it, and I have also read the Garth Ennis comic. How
Okay.
and I can tell you that it's quite vulgar. It has a point and it has a story that makes sense while you go through it, but it is
Correct.
well, it's not actually that Garth Ennis has
Well,
also written us another comic called The Crossed, and when I read that thing, I understand why comic book industry has censorship and age limitations for what kind of people get to read what comics.
but well, but the point is they're showing you the potential for beings, and this is why we have credible fear. In the real world, just imagine a super being like that. But they're just like us. What will happen? They will behave like us. What happens if you had all the power in the world? You see what I'm saying? You're not gonna be like Superman. Come on now. You're not gonna be like Superman.
Yeah, I
And
have
so
thought about what if I could get Superman's powers, and having read all the Superman stories I have read, how would I use these things? What possible templates would I use? And then there's the thing that would there be some things out of my control that would cause me to do some mistakes, and those mistakes would then push me to the other direction.
but
There's
the thing
some
about it is do you consider yourself um an upstanding human being? What I mean by that is look at the standards the world held Superman to. They are godlike standards, okay? Like he's not supposed to make no mistakes. You make mistakes every day. I make mistakes every day. That's just a start, right? On top of that, little things that we might do or think in our mind, that are just not appropriate. He couldn't even think those things.
mm,
He couldn't even think those things. I mean, it's a ridiculous standard he was held to. And I just think that if I, at this point in time, get superpowers like he did, it would not be a good thing for the world.
mm,
I'm telling
yeah,
you, no.
yeah, it would.
Because even if you just get a little bit angry with somebody, you're super strong. You could easily kill anybody. You could kill people. You could kill thousands of people easily.
I
It's
know.
almost like
Yeah, that's like
it's like dealing with ants. It's like dealing with ants. How do you treat an ant? How do you treat a cockroach? Do you care about the cockroach? You have the
well,
power to
when I
just
cleaned up my
annihilate
apartment,
a.
when I cleaned up my apartment one day, I was vacuuming. I saw some insects or cockroaches or something running around, and I just took the vacuum down and sucked them into the vacuum.
That's how we are to Superman. We are very fragile. He's super strong, super fast. If he wanted to annihilate a whole 2, 3 countries in a second, he could do it. You know. But
Yeah,
he cares about us so much. You know how much control he has
irredeemable.
to have with Lewis? He
Yeah,
has to have a lot of control with Lewis. Like if he goes
yeah,
to hug her, he can't hug her too hard.
it's that having Lois is what ties him to humanity, and then there's
Right,
the supporting cast that he has also has. People
right.
talk a lot about how Superman has all the powers and there's no reason to be worried about him getting this, that, or here or there. But it's the
No.
supporting characters that also actually keep him grounded. We are worried about those people who
And
are
his soft
practical
spot
and
is
around
those
him.
people.
Yeah,
If you
Lois
want to get to super,
people. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
Go ahead.
one thing why people were so angry about the CIA Jimmy. That's
Yeah,
one reason
when
why
Jimmy
people.
died.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
one thing
because
for me.
they didn't have any connection to him and Jimmy.
Yeah, that
And
point it wasn't. So most people actually thought about that version of Jimmy as if he was every other version who has had a pre-established relationship with Superman. But this version never had that, so it could be understood that it wasn't meant to be. And there was also the some hopeful thing that he was just some nameless CIA agent using an alias, and there is another Jimmy Olsen somewhere out there. Like in Smallville, they actually had two Jimmy Olsens.
oh,
They were basically an older brother and younger brother. An older brother who knew Clark and those other people for a couple of seasons before he was killed off, and then we saw his little brother in his funeral, and we knew that it would speed up to the point where Clark would be Superman, that the younger brother would be old enough to be
wow.
maybe that Jimmy Olsen.
My thing is that if you want to get to Superman, you get to him through other humans that he
Yes.
loves.
Yes,
So if
people
you
then
want
talk
that,
about, yeah. That's actually a very common Batman quote too. That people think that kryptonite is Superman's weakness, but it's really the people he cares about.
yeah,
Be it his wife,
that,
be it his friends, and be it his son right now. Actually, Henry Cavill was
yeah,
pretty
because
open to the idea that the next movies could have the Jonathan Samuel Kent version of Superboy.
nice, nice. Well, I gotta say though, that's where I think Zack Snyder hit the hammer on the head. He used Martha Kent, Martha Kent, and he used Louis Lane. Lex Luthor used those two people to get Superman and to control Superman. He was smart enough to understand that that was Superman's weakness.
Yeah, just like in Harsh Batman, you asked Catwoman to go to Daily Planet and pick one of three people, so they could have an advantage on breaking Poison Ivy's control over Superman.
There you go.
It was in the
No,
Hush comic book, and it was also in the animated movie that you said you didn't watch those movies, but actually I'm gonna say don't watch the adaptation of Hush. It's just it's
it's
not good.
weak.
It's not just weak. It takes the ending and changes it just so it could have a surprise twist that people like know who Hush is, and because people know who Hush is really, they decided to change this in the animated version
Okay,
just so they could have something to surprise them at the end.
okay, okay.
Well,
My
actually,
thing
pretty
is,
much they turned Riddler into Hush.
I gotta do like you and go through some more comic books because I haven't really been picking up a comic book in like the last 5 years. But I
You're
would say that
subscribed to my channel, aren't you? You're still
say
subscribed to
that
my
again.
channel, aren't you? You're still subscribed to my channel, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, I
Yes,
have
I
made
am.
I have done a couple of comic book related videos up from the well, there's the Flashpoint video I made where I covered the Flash Rebirth and the Flashpoint, and then I compared it to the animated Flashpoint movie, the CW show, and what I was at the time expecting from the
Yeah.
upcoming Flashpoint movie. There are those two
Right.
comics I cover in that one video. Then there's also a 90s three-part story called Blades. It's a Batman story from his second year with a villain named Cavalier. And then there's also a Japanese manga I also covered it in two videos.
Okay.
You can watch those,
Cool.
and actually,
I'm gonna check out your channel and I'm gonna check out all those clips and movies and stuff because and I of course I know you're still writing those novels, those crossover novels. So I gotta check up. I gotta get up to speed on a lot of things. I was out of the commission for a while. I'm gotta be honest with you.
I was actually also
A lot of catching up to me.
so because at 2018 I actually have something of a I don't know if it's a thing, but I have felt like I have gotten some kind of amnesia from 2018. Basically,
Really?
I remember work, I remember school, and I remember work. I had two jobs that year. There was the
Okay.
there was the I was a bouncer at a two different restaurants over the
All
weekend,
right.
and then in the summer I was doing this kind of accounting job, and then there was the school life I also had in the week during the
Right.
spring and the fall, and all that stress. When I try to think back to 2018, I already see some weird flashes.
Yeah, well, 2018, 2019 was trying for me because my mom passed away, and
Oh,
2018 I was taking care of her almost the entire year. So
oh, I'm
yeah,
sorry to hear that.
so it was really rough for me. Yeah, but yeah. So we're going to talk about more on the Snyder Cut and other Snyder movies in the next edition. Again, I invite you, Pick a Shades, to come through, do your thing. I also invite some of our guests right now in the comment section to come on here and talk. We're going to talk about another topic, which is going to be COVID-19 now. And then we're going to talk about that George Floyd incident. We got to talk about it. We got to talk about it. And
Yeah,
so we're going to get into all of that, and then we're going to wrap it all up. It's not going to be as long as this one because this is my passion, Zack Snyder's movies. And I do need to catch up though on DC. I do have to catch up on all their content, what they're offering. Um, and Pikachu, of course, I'm gonna be. I always call you Pikachu. I don't know why, but Pika Shades. I'm gonna come through your channel, obviously, and just raid through everything, see what's up there. By the way, for those of you who don't know, this is called StreamYard. I'm using StreamYard to do this, and we're gonna do a lot more of this. And I want you to get involved. I want you guys to show your face. Pika Shades started showing his face. I think it
yeah,
was
I have a
way back when I had
yeah,
Hangout.
yeah. When I was still using the when I was still using my real name.
Right.
I like to, but I still like to keep the anonymity behind this name and hide my face like this.
I don't think you're hiding your face. I think you're in character. I think you like the typical
Yeah,
Comic
in
Con
character is also a
person.
pretty good thing. But also in some videos, I have not made many videos about with just with my with me talking like this. I have only mostly drawn a cartoon avatar of myself for most videos.
I'm gonna shout out to Nimit K in the comment section. He said, "Good vibes." Elbow cough. What is happening with you, bro? You have COVID-19. Do you have COVID-19? Oh, where I live is not really much of an issue with COVID-19 at present because the government of my country locked down everything and they was running through everybody. So most people here probably have COVID-19, but they ain't showing no symptoms or nobody has it. I think
Yeah,
it's somewhere in between.
it's not very
It's
big
somewhere in
big deal
between.
here either. I still have to go to work. I'm not in the quarantines. I was
Ye-
sometime for a couple of months in the spring, but because most people who were essentially supposed to be at the office, they were sent. They were overburdened with work, so they had to be given some time off, and I have to go cover for them. Anyway, I need to
mm.
be at work in the morning, so
Yeah, man. Well, it's nice seeing you, man. Coming through talking all of this comic stuff. And
yeah.
I'll catch you later on the next one. The next one's going to be a continuation of this, but in a much more interesting
Yeah, I'll
format. I
see if
have.
I see if I'll be available when that happens.
Sure, no problem, man. Catch you later. So, pick a shades. Check out his channel. Check out his content. He's um he's actually a sci-fi sort of writer, and he puts out some really good content. So you can check out his channel. I'll be shout out to Nimish PK once more, and all the viewers that are out here watching this stream. You guys can hop on here. The link is somewhere up top of there somewhere. I don't know where it is. Just look for StreamYard somewhere, and you guys can stream. It's also on mobile devices now. You type it in on Google, and then you can hack in there and do your thing. Oops, oops, oops. Yeah, so we're going to talk about COVID-19 right now. So I got to tell you guys one time. I'm going to tell everybody because that's just the way I am. I don't wear masks, okay? I don't wear masks for COVID-19. I do everything else. I wash my hands. I keep myself sanitized. I stay away from getting flus, colds, and coughs, anything like that. Drink a lot of water, eat healthy, live healthy, try to be outdoors a lot. And the point behind it is that I've seen a lot of people having to wear a mask. Some people are less using masks. People use masks as conveniently as possible in my country because they don't really want to be wearing a mask all day because it's not healthy. I'm going to explain to you guys various reasons why I have my position. You don't have to take my position. So one of the things with masks is that you end up recycling your own air. That's stale air, just like air conditioning. Air conditioning is a little bit different because you're actually in a wider space of stale air that's being recycled. But when you wear a mask, you're basically breathing your own air back, which is high in carbon dioxide. There's little small amounts of ventilation pores and holes in the mask, but for the most part, you're breathing back your own air. That's not a good thing. Now, it is important to have a mask if somebody, for example, has COVID-19 around you. You want to put something that's at least a bit of an interface between all those particles, those moisture particles, which will have the COVID-19 virus in it. But basically, using a mask to protect your face from that is quite unhealthy otherwise. In fact, I think the mask actually will protect you from more particulates like dust than it would protect you from particulates that contain viruses. I'm going to explain to you why. So, whether it's a medical mask, whether it's um, a cloth mask, all masks absorb moisture. What does this mean? This means that when you put on your mask and you end up in a moist environment, it's going to get moisture on it and it's going to be an interface for the viruses, whatever, to still interface through the mask to you. And you're talking about billions and billions and trillions of particles with viruses, okay? And on top of that, you might be blocking your nose and your mouth, but you're not blocking your eyes, you're not blocking your ears. You're just trying to take the places which actually pull in air and push out air, which is in your mouth and your nose, and you're trying to protect those areas, but you're not really protecting these areas where you can still be infected by a mist of moisture from an infected individual who coughs out into the atmosphere. The important thing is it's transmitted via coughs and projected droplets. As a result of that, masks are really used mostly to prevent the spread of it, not so much protect you from someone who's spreading it. So that is why we talk about self-quarantine. Best to keep, if you know you have it, keep yourself home and don't go out there and spread it to other people because even though they have on masks, they can still get it from you. Right. Now that we have said that, what is the best possible option for people who have COVID-19 or not? The best possible outcome for you if you're in a COVID-19 infested environment is that even if you do get COVID-19, which more than likely you probably would, you want it to be asymptomatic. That is to say, the virus is in your system, but your immune system is so good it has already contained it and is already dealing with it. And to have a boosted immune system, a lot of you are going to have to change your habits and practices. A lot of you go to sleep too late. 10 o'clock. Try to get in bed about 10. Try to wake up early in the morning. That's one. That helps a robust immune system. If you haven't been cycling like that, you need to start trying to get into that cycle of sleeping in the night. Night sleep is what helps the body to rejuvenate and replenish itself. Eating healthy. A lot of people emphasize on this part, but everything else goes to the crap. Eating healthy involves drinking water. Drinking lots of water, stay hydrated as much as possible. That helps the flow in the body and also helps you to go to the bathroom, the toilet, whatever, regularly. 2, you don't want to be eating fried chicken and all that stuff that puts a lot of grease in your system. Unless you are someone who's a high activity, high octane kind of person that burns that stuff down like nothing. You want to be eating a lot of things that will boost your immune system. So you're looking at fruits. You're looking at vegetables. You're looking at, if you got to get a supplement, like a nutrient supplement, a vitamin or mineral supplement, make sure it has selenium in it. You want to get things and eat things like seeds and nuts. Seeds and nuts have various effects on your immune system. Also, it also helps to lower the glycemic index for taking in sugars. So you want to use those kinds of things, okay? And you also want to use lots of peas and beans, less flour products, even if you have to use flour, fine, but less flour products, that is to say, less bread and doughy things, and more things that are grains like rice or like I said before, nuts, grains, peas, beans, that kind of stuff. I'm vegan, so I basically and I box, and so I try to keep myself in as good health as possible. I'm pretty good right now, health wise, and a lot of people suffer from acid reflux because of their improper eating of meals every day. What do I mean by that? When you eat a meal is also very important. Your body needs to go into a rhythm of some sort of cycle. So you want to be able to eat meals on time. If you're going to eat 3 meals a day, fine. Don't eat humongous meals all the time. Try to give your body a rest. Try to give your stomach a rest. You know what I'm saying? So I eat some manageable meals, okay? 3 meals a day, 2 meals a day, 1 meal a day, but just make sure you have a set pattern so that your body is used to that. The other thing I want to say is that besides diet, you need to get fresh air. As much as people say, stay indoors, that's dumb, okay? And if you're gonna stay indoors, look around me, look around me. See these? Oh shoot! I almost knocked my. Oh my God! Hold on a second. All right, mother. I was about to cuss. Okay. All right. I was gonna show you my windows and all that other stuff, and then I realized that I was pulling down the cable for charging the phone, which I'm doing right now while I'm talking to you guys. Okay? Let me shift myself a little bit. That do better. Whatever. So yeah. So what I'm saying to you guys is that you want to get fresh air. You don't have to go paying a host of the money for all these medications or putting yourself on a ventilator or something because fresh air is still around us. Now, if you're in a urban place, lots of cars and stuff, try to stay as less as possible in the air conditioning and go outside and get some fresh air. I don't have any I have air conditioning in this house, but I don't use it. I open up all the windows and I let the air come into the house. But even so, that's not as good as going outdoors into the fresh air and breathing that stuff, okay? Because it's free flowing air and it's cooler outdoors where I live than indoors. Indoors it's hot like hell right now. It's very hot. Okay, that's not all. You've got to move around. You've got to exercise. A lot of you guys are doing jobs right now. You're more in a sitting position. You guys are sitting down at work, sitting down here, sitting down there. Right now, I'm doing a video. I'm sitting down doing this video. We cannot be just sitting down all the time. You have to get up, walk around. If you're in, for example, Damien had to visit. If you're in Port of Spain doing your thing, when lunchtime comes, take a walk and keep on walking. Walk over 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Just keep walking. Even if you're eating, you could eat and walk if you want, or sit down and eat. But you've been sitting down too much for the day. If you're a person who sits down for most of the day, I don't know what your thing is. But my point is, you want to be able to work those muscles. Imagine 6 hours every day, or 8 hours every day, or 10 hours every day, because you guys drive in cars and all that kind of stuff. You be moving. Here's another challenge for you guys. Here's another challenge for you guys. Instead of taking your car and going to work, Put your car down for a minute. Walk out your house. Try to get a taxi or a maxi or a car or a cab. Travel to where it is. Come out and then walk to wherever you got to go. The exercise, you can't pay for that. Because a lot, I see like this afternoon here, if I go down to the Etihad ground which is not too far away from where I live, I'm gonna see tons and tons of people down there exercising, walking in circles, jogging, running. But everybody don't gotta exercise at the same time. You can steal an exercise routine in the middle of the day. In your workplace, you can get up and just stand up and do some stretches. You can do some squats. You just pull the chair back and start doing some squats right in there. And yeah, most likely you're in air conditioning. It sucks. But at least you do some exercise, get some air, get your blood rate, get your body working. Because your body being operating slow is sluggish. The blood flow and everything is just slow and sluggish, putting so much pressure on your heart. Because a lot of you guys out there, your fluid, your liquid is very syrupy. So it's hard to pump around because you're not drinking enough fluids to start with, because a lot of y'all in air conditioning, so you don't feel you need to drink anything. So you have to exercise, right? And there's many different ways to do it. You don't have to do it one specific way. You can mix it up, go by a friend's house, walk by a friend's house, walk to the store, okay? If the store is close enough, if you got to travel with a car, instead of traveling in a car, get a what do you call that thing? You know that thing you can order where and instead walk to the spot and let the guy come pick you up, and then you go a certain distance, and then when you reach to the mall or wherever you're going to, you again stop a little bit, short of it, and walk to it. But spend more time using your feet. That's what they're for. you know. You go to Germany, they bike everything. So I mean, they got spaces for people to bike. And if you had the resources and the time, bike your way different places. Sometimes it's dangerous to do that, but bike your way to different places. You know what I mean? On the weekends, do some hiking, do some off-road stuff. Go biking or something, hiking, biking, anything like that. That gives the body, the muscles get worked up so they can kind of help to push the blood along and push the lymph along and help the circulation and your alertness. Next thing, I'm gonna say this, and I mean it. Processed sugars. Try to limit the amount of processed sugars in your diet. You got a sweet tooth, use fruits, use raisins. You can make really nice sweet drinks with things that have low glycemic index. So try to look out for things that you flavor. Try to make your own food. Try to grow your own food. Okay? And it can be as easy as just taking a plant pot and putting in some seasoning. You put some seasoning in a plant pot, you plant that, and you grow that in your kitchen. All right? It doesn't have to be something very complex and complicated. Okay? You can take things like you can grow onions right in your kitchen. You can grow ginger right in your kitchen. You can grow seasoning in your kitchen. Do it. Don't go to the store for some things that you can grow. Okay, I don't care if you're in the suburbs or wherever you are, or in the urban places. You can have your little plants on plant pots on plant stands in your kitchen or on the windowsill and stuff. On the windowsill and kitchen. In certain parts of your house. Okay, and there's certain plants you can keep inside of your house. So figure out those plants. Don't just have decorated plants. Have plants that you can get something from. Okay, moringa plants or whatever. In addition to that, you need sunlight. Everybody needs sunlight. Okay, and the best way to get it is to go out there and get it. Now you got to be careful how you get your sunlight. Okay, you can't just go out there in the hot sun. You've never been in the hot sun. You're gonna get sunburn. And then you can get cancer. So you don't want to, and don't go out with sunscreen and all of that. You put something on your skin so you don't dry out. But I mean, you want to be able to go in the early morning sun, okay? The early morning sun, or you go out in the afternoon sun. Now, the early morning sun is the best sun to get. The midday sun, I go out in the midday sun sometimes, but that's because my body is used to that. But those of you who are not used to it and you have prep for it and you don't have your body all like oiled up with like cocoa butter or something, you're going to be in trouble. So don't go out in the midday sun saying, "Oh, I'm going to get sun." You're going to get sunburned, ninja. And that's not on me. Okay, and that's going to be worse for you. And you gotta hydrate yourself before you go out there. Or else you're really gonna get burned. I mean, you have to water the plants so they can withstand the sun. So the same thing with yourself. All right. And Image PK says, yes, totally agree. Home food and staying fit is very much needed now. Yeah, but I'm telling you I hope you're not just ignoring everything else I'm saying. You gotta sleep properly, you gotta get fresh air, you gotta get sunlight. I got another one for you. So the other aspect of health, and there's several aspects of health, but this is another one a lot of people do not do. Your health is in the hands of a higher power. And so, in my opinion, your connection with God is what's going to sustain your health. You don't got no connection with God. Lots of people who don't have no connection with God, but your health and well-being, especially your spiritual health and well-being, which is what I like about Zack Snyder's movies. If you beg me to say, I like the spiritual aspect of it as well. And not just because he's come from a Christocentric point of view, but he's also come from a metaphysical point of view, which I truly like to enjoy seeing, because he's not just doing abstractions, what you guys think of abstractions. He's actually bringing out truths about dreams, truths about prophecy, and so on. He's actually giving a picture of it, and people don't realize that's like some real stuff in this science fiction. All right, but anyway, that's another story for another day. So um being spiritually grounded in the source of life, to me, is very important. You can't I don't believe you can really truly be healthy physically mentally and physically if you're not spiritually grounded. And so, quite frankly, you could do all the things I just said and you can still end up very sick and dead because you didn't take the fundamental first principle thing, which is the grounding in what a lot of people call God or gut. And I just truly believe you have to know that for yourself, and that's for you and your spiritual journey as of yourself. I can tell you about the one I serve. I can tell you about God, but it's something you just have to experience for yourself, for you to know for yourself. Nobody can tell you about it. You have to know it for yourself. Okay? It's that intimate. Excuse me for a second. I have to just drink some water again because I'm refluxing a little bit. All right, but there is still a number of other things. You have to be a temperate individual, which means you cannot be excessive. You cannot be doing too many things. A lot of times we sit down in front of the PC or the computer or whatever. I'm going almost close to 1 hour and almost 40 minutes here. It's 4:42 in the day. And you have to have some self-control. You have to have temperance. Just because you like something doesn't mean you spend all your time on that and you neglect all the other things that are important. So temperance is very important, and it's a behavioral thing that affects your health. Okay. Now you have to have mental health. You must have mental health. If you don't have mental health, it doesn't matter being physically healthy. And so behavioral practices, I know I have struggled with certain behavioral practices which affect my health. And this is why I have certain issues like reflux still to this day. It's not tremendous reflux anymore, but it's still there. And that's because Damien Activist says, I'm heading home later. Later, brother. Catch you later, man. So these are factors you have to consider. And a lot of you guys in the Snyder Cut have been doing a lot of positive things for people and raising money for people. Goodwill is the most fulfilling thing in the world. A lot of people talk about success being in terms of achieving things, but there's nothing better than giving back. Giving back is the most fulfilling thing a human being can do. This is why even me having these discussions here and giving back is very fulfilling to me, and I feel very satisfied doing something like this. So there's nothing quite like giving. You know, there's this spiritual words that Jesus said, but many other spiritual people have said, which is it's better to give than to receive. It truly is. It's the most satisfying thing in the world to give something than to receive something. To receive something is for you to give it back. You know, it's when you give it back. It's like just imagine you was the richest guy in the world, but you had nobody to share that wealth with. That's depressing, you know. So there's something called behavioral health or mental health, which is these things foster and they bring forth. And the next thing is having a thankful spirit. Thankful spirit is a very important thing. And this is again mental health again. And then the last thing is being able to forgive, being able to forgive people in the past for what they have done to you. You may be wiser about it, but you're able to let that go. If you can let go of things that people have hurt you with in the past, and some of them are subconscious, you're not aware of how people hurt you and how you're still holding on to those things. But once you can let go of those things in the past, again, this will also affect your health because a lot of diseases are caused by stress. People who are stressed out about things, they worry about things, and this is how you boost your immune system. Your immune system is going to get faster and faster and faster and more responsive to things the more you follow along those lines that I just said. I don't use a lot of oils, artificial oils. I don't use a lot of things. I don't have a lot of stress on my mind. I don't worry about things. I don't worry about people. You know, once everybody's always good around me, anytime there's something that really is going down that I think is a problem and I can assist and help, I try to put my hand and assist and help. This is the way to live life so that you have less of the problems up here, which will affect the rest of your body down there. Okay. So that's basically mental health in a nutshell, and also how you boost your immune system. It involves many different facets, not just what the ones that a lot of people like to emphasize, which is what you eat and what you drink. Um, it involves a lot more than that. And so I just hope that a lot of you guys out there, if you want to take your notes or whatever, you would take those notes. I was trying to repeat it in future videos as well, so that you guys could be able to be able to do it. You know. Um, so on my next channel, which I do boxing, I do sometimes little exercises with people, simple little exercises that get them in shape. So one of the simple little exercises I want to share with you right now, so you can take it with you, is squats. And squats is one of the simplest things in the world to do, but it can be very dangerous and you can hurt yourself if you don't do it properly. So I'm sitting down right now. A squat is pretty much what I'm doing here, sitting down here without a chair behind me. You want to get your butt as far out as possible. You want to sit back on your heels as you go into the squat while leaning forward. Okay? And you can keep your hands out in front of you like this, or you can keep them like this or like this. Okay? To counter the weight of your butt going backwards and being back on your heels. And you want to spread your legs out as much as possible. You want to keep them as wide apart as you go into your squat. And that's basically squatting. And it's great because it builds your joints. So some people who have, you know, like rheumatoid arthritis, or they're getting their knees always out of place, it tightens up the tendons and stuff. You drink enough water. On top of that, you're drinking a lot of water. You're not going to have any joint problems whatsoever because your joints will never rub against each other because you got a lot of fluid in there. Okay? So you want to preserve your joints, drink a lot of water. The other thing that I do, and I haven't done in a while though, is ab crunches. Even though I got my six pack going on, I take ab crunches. And I do ab crunches in a vertical position, pulling my lower body upwards while I'm holding on to something. So that's my major way of doing ab crunches. But you can also do ab crunches by doing pull-ups and then doing the crunch. Yeah, I do it sometimes on swings. You can go to the swing and do it. You can do it. You can do your ab crunches on a door that's really well stabilized to the ground. You can do it on a door. You probably take a towel, put it over the door so you don't hurt your hands, and then you can do the pull-ups. So those are the basic things that I do. I don't do a whole lot of them either. I do like 5 at any given time. whether it's the ab work pulling up my body or it's but I try to do them kind of on and off during the day, and I do my shadow boxing and that kind of thing. So yeah, that's how you stay healthy. That's how you boost your immune system. Um, Nimitz PK says very much mental health is equally important too. Yes, that's what absolutely 100%. I mean, if you're a fearful person, like the COVID-19 has put a lot of people in a fearful predicament where they started making some poor choices because they were so afraid. But you have to, even if you are fearful, try to think through the situation and make sense of it. You're the person in charge of your health, not the government, not any authority, not any figure. Try to do your homework, do your research on what is going on. And from basic understanding of health, you should be able to say if it makes sense or it doesn't make sense. Okay. All right. So these are the things to hold on to. I gotta go and just drink some water. But I just wanted you guys to understand that COVID-19 is not something that will kill you. Most of you are not going to die from it if you get it. But you want to put yourself in a position where your body is ready to deal with it the moment it comes. Okay? And the other thing is, I want a lot of you guys, because I suffer from reflux. That's another reason why I wouldn't cover my nose and stuff, because I could choke to death. I don't want that to happen. But the other thing I want you guys to realize is that each of you as a group, as individuals and then as a group by extension, each of you has the power to be able to influence other people with your health. And by showing by example that, hey, look at me, I look good, I look healthy, etc. By showing people this side of you, the proof is in the pudding. Okay? Now, we've been discussing this at length on my other channel, that I truly believe that this COVID-19 diagnosis with PCR is producing false positives with a number of different people. Okay, now it's better to err on the side of a false positive than a false negative, but it's producing a lot of false positives with a lot of people, and that's a problem. Okay. Some people right now, they can't go to work. Some people right now, they can't do what they want to do because they keep on getting tests that come up false positive with them. And we're talking about months upon months. These people have been getting false positives, and that cannot be because they have COVID-19. It has to be because they are misdiagnosing the antigen that's in their body with that of the COVID-19 antigen. That's just the way how reverse PCR works, the genetic material in there. So I think that we need to have a better testing for COVID-19. That's the first thing. And the second thing is a lot of people realize that there's a bacteria actually that is affecting people, that's actually killing them. And it's not necessarily the COVID-19 virus. So that's a whole other story for another day. And we can go into that in detail some other time. But suffice it to say that there are simple solutions to these problems. And so therefore, I suggest you guys do some homework and you will find the simple solutions to some of these problems. But the best solution of them all is just having a robust immune system, which is what they do anyway with people who have COVID-19. They just boost their immune system, okay? And they ride out the storm. So I just wanted to share that with you guys concerning COVID-19. Let's get into the last topic at hand, which is the George Floyd incident. Well, the George Floyd incident has been happening God knows how long. All right, that one just happened to be captured by bold police officers who decided that they could just boldly do this and they'll get off. All right, at present, these guys are not. They've been charged. They have not been found guilty of anything so far, and it looks like they will live. Okay, their lives will be intact. His life is gone. Now, while it did affect the whole wide world, you can see that the George Floyd incident has died down some, as with all things, and so. We're not seeing the sort of action that has to happen. Now, those of you who know about Emmett Till was a little boy, 14 years old from Chicago, and he was murdered in the South by two white men who acknowledged that they killed him, and they still got off free of all charges. And there is some surviving people now from that time. But the point is, anyway, that's not the point. The point is, to this day, these crimes against humanity and against, unfortunately, black people, being an example of one of them. Of course, there are other people in other countries with other races who are being victimized as well, and have been done so for a while. But we're talking America right now. And the black people of America have been, treated worse than dogs. Okay, because at least with a dog, you know, even if you do something to a dog, um, people will say, "Oh my God, you did it to an animal. That's wrong." And the animal rights groups will jump on you. But there's no rights groups, no human rights groups at least, jumping all over this issue. And it takes people on the grassroots level to have been doing this. And of course, COVID-19 did help the situation get more coverage. And of course, people wanted to get out of their houses and do something. So that's another reason. But at the end of the day, the fat is dying down. We're still watching for the metal to the iron, and we're watching to see what justice system will do concerning these individuals who have killed a human being in cold-blooded murder. Okay, this is not the first time these people have done this. These are not the only people who have done this. We've seen incidents all around the country on video, but besides the video instances, just imagine the hundreds and the thousands. And right now, as we speak, one might be going on where people of color, particularly black people in this country, but in the United States of America, but also, let's not get it twisted, sometimes the minorities, other minorities are being victimized. In fact, I have seen the police beat up people who are not even minorities, white people in this country, for no reason at all. Not because they're supporting George Floyd or anything like that. They just pick on somebody and they just start taking advantage of them. And they take them down to, they do all kinds of crazy things. And I'm just going to say, if you guys think that this George Floyd incident stops with minorities and black people, you are sorely mistaken. They're coming for you next. Okay. So I'm just saying, because they got a whole set of caskets lined up in certain states anticipating mass deaths and mass graves. They ain't got them caskets there for no reason. Okay. So I'm just saying, and they're not caskets, they're like plastic drums to put bodies in. I'm just saying, they don't just have it there for no reason. Okay. I remember when Michael Jackson said they don't care about it. And Michael Jackson he was trying to be as free and as open as he could to all races of people. And if you think that it'll never happen to you, so you want to keep quiet, and because you think you're a white person, or you are somebody removed from that situation, or you're from another country and it don't happen in your country, you are sorely mistaken. Because this COVID-19 incident showed how easily they can switch up modes and go from having you have your rights and liberties and moving around and so on, to stripping you of all of that in an instant. And see, these acts against George Floyd show you the potential and capability of people who have the power and authority to implement peace and order, abusing that authority and suddenly becoming draconian and militant. And now it doesn't even matter the reason. You just have to follow the policy. And that's the thing that you guys don't understand. They're testing these things out. And they're going to mass use it on everybody. Okay? So that's where I'm at with these kinds of incidents. They're white flags, they're red flags, they're whatever flags you want to call them, and you have to be careful, because they don't care about you. You think they care. They don't care about you. But here's how you make them care about you. You have the purchasing power. And when Law enforcement is abusing their authority. When law enforcement is killing your citizens, because this is what it is. You have the power to shut that stuff down. You can start lobbying today for law enforcement to either change their laws, or you will penalize them by making sure and lobbying heavily for them not to get funding so that they can get equipment, whether it's guns, whether it's the training to abuse people. You can start defunding them, which is what I'm hearing people talk about, defunding the police. You got to hit them where it hurts. Their income. They already don't get enough income. We're not going to reward you with more income to abuse people, the citizens. We're not going to do that. So you start hitting them where it hurts, and then they're going to start stepping it up, because we got body cams, we got people with cameras all around, and police are acting a fool, choking somebody down in front of cameras. Okay, celebrities have to go on the ground, you're putting your knee on them. What the hell you doing putting your knee on a citizen? And I know there are some citizens out there that are literally criminal, and you got to contain them and stuff. But those citizens aren't those kinds of people. So you're practicing an extreme militant action on citizens. They have become the enemy. And you guys got to read into it the correct way. This isn't about black versus white. This is about draconian, militant, nationalistic people deciding to hold the state they're trying to hold it in a siege. That citizens who have done nothing wrong, they're going to start with the most vulnerable ones that y'all not really paying attention to. That George Floyd incident where he was pleading for his life in front of everybody, that's to desensitize you to things like that. Because the next person in line ain't going to be George Floyd. It's going to be you. If you don't follow up and listen to what they say. In fact, it don't even matter if you follow up and listen to what they say and try and obey the rules. They're going to kill whoever they want to, and nobody else is going to be able to do squat. That's where it is at, people. So if you don't realize what's going on, because you think you are removed from that situation and you are safe, you're wrong. It's not just a crime against humanity. It's a crime against you. You got to take it personally. You've got to take it personally and say, is this W Mirror? What's up, my boy? Yo. Is this what they want to do to me? Because they're going to come for me next. You got to feel uncomfortable about that, because humanity involves you. It's not a what if it's me. It's when will it be me? So if you guys don't understand what's going on, because what happens when, okay, let's say they get rid of all the minorities. They kill off all the minorities, right? There's no more minorities in the United States of America. Who they going to come after? They're going to come after somebody. And it's going to be you. So if you feel you're safe, or there's some people out there, because they never experienced certain things, they got this, this privilege that they don't realize they have. And they feel the whole world is just like how their world is, and everybody functions like how they are, because they never stepped out the box. Those people are going to have a severe sense of reality when things change. In fact, it already happened. When we had the financial collapse, a lot of people who was comfy and cozy started to feel what some minorities and poorer people felt and had to live with on a day-to-day basis. And they started crying, moaning like little babies, because they didn't know how to handle it. Some of them committed suicide. They didn't know how to handle it, because now you get experience. Why don't they kick themselves up by their bootstraps and go? Okay, now it's your turn. Now it's your turn. Can you do that? Or you going to commit suicide? Or you going to go to drugs? Oh, well, now the boat has changed. Now your boat's sinking. Okay. So now, you know what it feels like. And that's the thing. A lot of us feel, see, we take life for granted. We talk about, oh, they need to be so humble, and they need to be so humble, and they need to humble themselves. What happens when you get humble? What happens when you now have to take your own words and eat them? That's why this George Floyd incident is so important, because it's been going on for years, decades. Emmett Till was 1955, ladies and gentlemen. Before the civil rights movement, it triggered the civil rights movement. Where this woman, Emmett Till, she took Emmett Till's body in its brutalized form. These white men beat him up, chopped him up, and then shot him, a 14-year-old boy, just because he said that this lady looked great in his own way, coming to the deep south. When they found his body was ballooned up. Go check him out, Emmett Till. Check him out. Watching his body, 1955. Nice little boy, 14 years old. Brutalized. And she let it be just that way. She put it in the casket. And everybody all over the United States of America was on time. And nobody was brought to justice for that. Nobody. That's 1955. We're in the year 2020. How many years have transpired there? 65 years. 65 years. And understand this. That incident, you fast track to today with the police. How many police have ever been prosecuted? Do you remember Zuckerman and Trayvon Martin? Had he been persecuted, he came off free again. Free. How many times will this happen? And then in addition to this, they're targeting you now. People who are not minority. You're going to let it happen? Because they're going to take you over and they're going to butcher your ass. They're going to treat you just like if you was a lamb to the slaughter. All of y'all. Because you think they care about you? They don't care about you. You feel you got a little privilege or you got a little, you live, you don't have to deal with that. You will have to deal with it. Because they're coming for you. This is a little test. They're going to do it on minorities. They're going to do it on sick people. And then they're going to come for you. That's why it's so important. Crimes against humanity. You thought it was just another little thing. No, it's self-preservation, Ninja. That's why you call out for it. That's why you strike it, because it's going to come back to you. They're going to eventually come around to you. Self-preservation. So, because they ain't going to need you very soon. We got enough automated things. We got AI. You think you really think they care about you? They don't care about you. How many times do I have to say that? They don't care about you. They got machines that could do 3, 4, 5, 6 times what you're doing. Be more productive. They don't care about you. You think Michael Jackson was joking when he said that? They don't care about you. So if you think you're an indispensable entity and they're not coming at you, they're going to come at you. These people believe the earth is overpopulated. So they don't have a problem annihilating you. 1 by 1 or 7 by 7 or 8 by 8. They don't care about you. Why do you think these police officers are getting off on these cases and they're getting scotch free? Because they don't care about those people that died. Lives don't matter to them. All lives. But they just started off with the black one and the minority. Because everybody pick on them. They really want to start with you guys. They want to kill you guys off, but y'all gonna make a big holla boo boo and something gonna happen. So they got to pick off the ones that y'all don't really think much about anyway. Because they're not real people. They're more like monkeys. But you don't realize you are a guinea pig. And they're gonna come at you. So I just wanted to spread that news again. Because if y'all paid attention to the COVID-19 and the regulation that started to get involved with this COVID-19, y'all would have had your antennas up. Because with COVID-19 came what? What came with COVID-19? What came with COVID-19? Come on now. What's the mobile service that's being upgraded right now in the world? There's a mobile service that's being upgraded. Right? And that's where we're at. So I just wanted to share that with you guys because I believe that long overdue that I should have talked with you guys. William Muir, Namish PK, Damian Anton Vincent, Leroy Kong, Cornell Comer, my boy. Pick a shade. This is Christ I Am Disciple. And I was happy to talk with you guys a little bit. I want to leave you guys with a little quote from the Bible. I want you guys to be as wise as a serpent, but as harmless as a dove. Be very wise about what's going on, but do not look to harm people. Look to inform people about what's going on. I said it way, way back when that we didn't need masks for COVID-19. We needed to boost our immune systems for COVID-19. I stay the same way. I've been confirmed by different doctors in different areas. A lot of people have shown how masks are counterproductive because once you put down the mask, say you're going to eat something or whatever, you put down the mask, you got to put it on a sanitized surface to start with. And there's just several other things you have to do just to put on a mask. And by the time you put on a mask, your whole face has got microbes like crazy on it. Somewhat counterproductive using masks, to be honest with you. But I want you guys to understand one thing and one thing only. Those of you who don't believe in a creator or God, I want you to at least understand that God, whether you believe in him or not, is holding all of us together. Literally, figuratively, mentally, and spiritually. And so I want to leave on behalf of all of you, not saying that I said, why is the serpent's harvest stubs? And I want to keep you guys in my thoughts, my well wishes, and my prayers. I'm going to catch you guys later. We'll try and do another video, another live stream with StreamYard. Another time, we're going on 2 hours and 8 minutes. I am Christ I Am Disciple, a.k.a. Anson Phillip. Hope you guys had a good time. I'll catch you guys later. I got some music for you guys too. We'll try and do that another time. Peace.